everybody, I mean, there are people in my office that are walking around looking for sachets that they can throw in a water bottle. There are people in the office that are saying, I can't believe how great I felt at the gym. You know, Thomas, Jr. went up to the gym the other day, and he said he took a stick right before he went in, and he said, man, I can't believe my workout. He said, literally, I felt amazing. And he said, it just was one of those things where you kind of go, wait a minute, what is going on here? But you're right, DW. It is one of the most demonstrable products that you'll ever come across. And for those people that are trying to figure out, okay, so how do we build our business? Well, my recommendation is right now, I would literally buy a case of water, and I would buy a couple of cases of H2 sticks, and I would go out and I would sample like crazy. I would sit at my table in my dining room. I would sit at somebody else's table in their dining room. I would sit around a cafe and talk about it. I would sit around a hotel lobby and literally give everybody a bottle of the water, give them all an H2 stick, let them go crazy putting that in their water. Let them sit there as you're talking about the benefits, talking about all the wonderful things that it does for the body, doing all those wonderful things. And I'm going to do a video on this, by the way, everybody. It'll probably be within the next couple of days that I'll kick this thing off so you can see it real time, where we'll have, obviously I can't sit around for 10 or 15 minutes, but we'll do a lapse time so that you guys can see it. We'll talk about the benefits, and then you guys can share that with others on your team and help them understand the importance of going out and demonstrating and sampling and sharing this product, because this is the one. There is no question that you can sit in front of somebody and they can see the gases of the hydrogen start to expand, and that bottle starts to expand, and literally you'll start to see things happen in that bottle. You'll hear the crunching and the crinkling of the plastic. You'll feel it. It's taut to the grasp. And folks, it's just one of those deals where you cannot believe that you're seeing it right before your very eyes, but you're just talking and chatting, and people are going, oh, wait a minute, there's something going on inside my bottle. Well, I want you guys to know, each one of you on the call, a couple of things to think about when you're using the H2 sticks. One, it's magnesium. It's going to turn the water a little bit of a grayish color. That's okay. There is nothing wrong with the color of the water. There is nothing wrong with the water. It's the magnesium that reacts inside the water that starts to create that hydrogen. And again, like we've been talking about, I mean, we're getting 15 to 18 times the amount of hydrogen that we were getting out of the machines that we were selling. 15 to 18 times the amount of hydrogen. I sat in Tom's office the other day, and they had Tom was doing a titration value on it, on the water. And we had done a quarter, half, 3/4, and a full sachet, and we were watching the changes happen, and it was absolutely amazing. But I want you to know, I'm going to get the full benefit. I'm always pouring a full sachet into my water bottle. I don't mind the little bit of sediment that sits at the bottom. Just turn your bottle upside down a couple of times gently. It'll all dissipate, and you start drinking that water. And when you get to the end, swish it around a little bit, pick up all that magnesium, because it is amazing for the blood-brain barrier. Magnesium is one of the most important ingredients for the brain to function properly, and we've got it in massive doses in this incredible product called Sisel H2 sticks. And so don't worry about it. Don't get freaked out by it. Don't have oh my gosh, I don't know if I should drink that. It's got stuff on the bottom, etc. Just gently shake that bottle a little bit. Now, I personally am putting my hydrogen inside my H2 bottle, and I know that a lot of people are buying that bottle, obviously, because we had to do another reorder immediately. But I want you to know that that's the best way for you to drink that bottle of water. But in the same tone, in the same motion, you want to start thinking about, okay, so how do I start showing this and demonstrating it? Well, it's not going to be inside your H2 bottle. Number one, it's not clear. Number one, it's not plastic. And number one, it doesn't have the ability to do the things that you want it to do for a demonstration purpose. So put it in a plastic bottle, and you will have that same opportunity to watch people's faces go, wow, that is amazing. So, folks, the energy, the excitement, the opportunity that's in front of us, the chance for you to stake your claim, it's right here. As DW said, we have all of the products in the world to give you everything you would possibly need to help your body start to do the things that it was meant to do, but it hasn't been doing it because you haven't had the proper nutrition, literally assaulting those issues, the free radicals, and with the H pill going in and really preparing that cell to uptake that type of nutrition. I'm telling you, there is a reason why people are running, not walking anymore in this company. And this sample program, you guys have got to realize this is the opportunity to pick up a couple of boxes. We did an introductory price. We did it so that you can go out and start really building in the new year. Tom Sr. personally put out a price that he knew would entice and excite people to go out and start building this product and allow them to actually have it at a price and start sampling like crazy. So my recommendation is get your hands on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boxes at a time. Go out and start sampling it, building this product line into your conversation piece. And then, as DW mentioned, start introducing them to products like the H pill. Start introducing them to products like the Triangle of Life. Man, can you imagine the addition of TSX in their life? I mean, we're talking amazing, as DW put it, time-tested and proven products that are going to help people with an amazing abundance of life. And that's all I care about, folks. I want to see people healthy. I want to see them off their couch. I want to see them out active again. And I'm getting so many testimonials from people that are talking about the fact that they've been able to go back out and start using these products and start changing their lives and start playing with their kids again and their grandkids and being able to get down on their knees and run around with the kids and have fun with them again and all of those things that kids expect. But, folks, we've become a lethargic nation. We need to do something about that. It's up to each one of you to carry that mantle into today and start thinking about how you can change other people's lives as well. So with that, DW, I'll send it back to you.
Aaron, I tell you what, that was great information. I love what you said, about the magnesium that's in it. That's why the water coloring and the whole bit. Those little things like that are just kind of helpful hints, because we all know that we need the magnesium. And, but right now, Aaron, I don't know if you want to say anything or not, but we have Tom Mower with us. And, what would you have to say about how excited he is concerning this product?
Well, DW, I'll tell you, there are a few products that have come out over the last number of years, and I've been lucky enough, I guess is the right word, to be a part of those launches. I remember when we changed Supermax for him and for her and the Spectra AO and actually combined them into one bottle, which was Spectra Max. And I want you to think about the fact that they did that at a time when it was so important to literally cut down the costs and literally almost give people the same value, but with double the concentration of different nutrition that did different things for the body. I remember when he came out with Eternity. I remember when he came out with TSX, the H pill. I mean, we're talking about these home run hitters, right? The fact is, when he came out with the Sisel H2 6, I watched Tom's eyes light up, and his push and his desire to have that thing out before the Christmas holiday, it was unbelievable, because every time I walked in the door, I thought, okay, we're going to relax a little bit. We're coming up on the holidays. No, Tom is ready to go. He wants that thing out. We're doing everything we can, running back and forth between the manufacturing facility, making sure it's blended, making sure that everything's done. So the other day I walk into his office, and this will give you an idea of how excited he is about this product. He has a big bag of it on his desk, a big bag of sachets. And so I had a box in my hand, so I decided, well, maybe I'll just start, picking up that box and filling it up with a couple of sachets, see how it looks. And Tom said, you take one more, I'm going to break your arm. And I said, okay, well, I'll leave that one in the bag and take what I've got. So I, of course, ran out with everything I had in my hand and luckily knew that I could outrun Tom right now. But the fact is, it's not going to be long with the different products that he's working on that he's probably going to be able to outrun me, so I got to be careful. But anyways, that'll give you an idea. Literally, he said it right to me. Aaron, you take one more, I'm going to break your arm. So with that being said, I'm going to turn it back to you, DW, and you can bring Tom on.
Tom, we're so excited. You're gonna have to knock him out. You're gonna have to put a buzzer on your door to the door can't open, and then unless you push the button for it to open. That way, if someone steals your stuff while you're right there. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? He'll draw back a nub next time he reaches for your stuff. Everyone, here's Tom Mower, and I love to refer to Tom like this. He is an absolute God-blessed visionary. And there's a lot of them out there, and we get Tom. He gets us. A lot of us in the field, we're visionaries as well. That's why we sync with him so well. That's why Aaron syncs with him so well. And when you're synced up with the right kind of vision, you can absolutely make a massive impact. Tom, welcome to your call, and we're glad to have you today. And we're very, very excited about what's going on with the H2 Stix.
Well, thanks, DW, and Aaron for being on. I caught most of Aaron's talk while it was going on, and he's been there from the beginning of many of these things that we've developed. And as you can hear from as he's speaking, you realize how many monumental products we have. If you thought of it in this way, if you had a Major League Baseball team, and every single batter in the lineup would be able to be in the top 10 for being able to knock home runs and get on bases, what kind of a team would you have? It would be like it's the dream team of all times. Well, that's what Sisel is. We're the dream team of all time in MLM because we've got that murderer's row of big batters. That's what they called it when Babe Ruth was batting. He and Lou Gehrig and another hitter called Tommy Lazzaro, they were called murderer's row because they come up 1, 2, 3, and just the poor pitchers had to face him. Well, we're going to come up 1 through 10, and then many more after that. But 10 really big products that no company in the world has anything to begin to come close to, or in some cases, anything, particularly like the age pill. And then also now like the H2 stick. So those are exciting things if you can visualize them this way. I mean, you have to see what's there and then put it in your own mind. It's like Aaron when he was in here robbing me of my Sisel sticks, and I told him, one more. And you take one more and I'm going to break your arm. You see, I didn't just think of that. That happened once when I was having lunch with DW, and I reached over and grabbed a French fry, and that's what he said to me. So you can learn a lot of things. You can learn a lot of things that go on in life, but you don't have to create it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. We've reinvented it, and we have turbocharged it, and we're going down the track lickety-split at very fast speed. But today, besides talking about all the other things, I want to talk to you particularly about the age stick. Now, I heard Aaron talking to you about the different aspects of what it can do and the residue. There's been people calling in. We hadn't really thought about this because I'm the kind of guy that, I don't know, in life, I want to be bigger than life. I want to have an overly built business, if you want to say it that way. My house, overly built, an overbuilt car. I had the same feeling about women too. It goes right within the scheme of things for what I want to do. I will not accept second best. That's why I've had a whole bunch of divorces. But anyway, I will not accept second best because it can be done. And just because others don't and it can be done doesn't mean that we should fall to the lowest common denominator. We should actually rise above all them other companies and go where no one's gone before. And that's what the Sisel stick is. Now, in doing it, my overbuilt product has been, it took us a while to design it and everything. It's based upon reacting a number of elements together, both acid and base, metal, inorganic, organic. I won't give you all the gist of the chemistry of it, but the essential idea is magnesium is the main one. That's why you get a little discoloration in the bottle, and it's also why you have a little bit of residue. Here's why. Magnesium is one of the most extremely important ingredients that you could have, or inorganic mineral you could have, that would fulfill the needs of the brain in your body. You never can have too much magnesium, and the brain is always, it doesn't matter who it is, always deficient in magnesium. Some like DW, and perhaps more than others, but still you can be quite deficient in magnesium, and your brain doesn't function well. But guess what? The rest of your body doesn't either. So you can take magnesium supplements. You take too much, and what you've got is a laxative, because magnesium does not absorb well, and so you can't take enough of it in an oral dosage. So now here we're talking to you about the H2 stick in a liquid, and we're saying take it orally. It's because of the reactions that take place with that. we break it down and it forms certain types of materials which will now be readily accepted by the cells, go pass right through the delivery system, and guess who's pushing it? Hydrogen all the way through. So when this starts to break and separate and react, you see all these. I mean, this is almost like the creation of the earth on a mini scale. You just see all of these things starting to happen, and huge, copious amounts of oxygen is being generated. How do you generate oxygen from water? Well, you split water, and you split the oxygen off and let it pair, and you got O2, the same oxygen you breathe. How do you get hydrogen out of water? Well, it's H2O. So you split the hydrogen off. You got the oxygen on one side, hydrogen on the other side. What have you got? You got magic. You've got the power of the universe. It's the power of the sun, and it's going to radiate in you all day long if you use it. And so we've got a number of people in a very short period of time who've already been sending us in, coming into the office even, and telling us just how incredibly well this product has worked. And I'm going to show you how to handle a few of the flip side questions that you might have on this today. But we have people coming in and saying, I have never been able to exercise at this kind of level before. And I'm really fit, and it's taken me to a level that I never thought I could do. I'm not only exercising at a higher level, but longer, and my recovery is fast. I don't have the soreness that I did. Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. Lactic acid buildup is one of them, and this just reduces lactic acid buildup. But there's so many other. You throw Sisel Rip at this thing, holy cow, does it rip! It really gets going. So you've got you look at those. You've got a murderer's row of the biggest hitters in MLM history. The Babe Ruth of them all. That's the age pill. Lou Gehrig. You know, that is. I hope some of you go back far enough to know who those people were, but Lou Gehrig, you know, that would be the H2 stick. But then you go on to others. You look at Hank Williams and Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays. I mean, you know, those are things like brain vitality, eternity, Fucoiden, Spectramax. Those are massive products. So where are you sitting? How would you like to be in another company that had none of those, or such inadequate ones that you really didn't have any results you could feel, see, or talk about years after, right? Because you can't drive on a vacation trip if you put a quart of gas in your gas tank. It just hasn't got what it takes to get you there, and that's what these supplements don't. And I published, I think you published this. I'm not always sure where they get things on Facebook or not. But I published something about what's going on within the dietary supplement world, where the FDA went and took the 200 best-selling products in the New York area. These are the major ones right off the shelf: Walmart, Walgreens, GNC store, and a bunch of others. And they tested them. Out of those 200 top-selling, these are the number one sellers in America. Not one of them had enough of the ingredient they were touting to be considered a therapeutic dose. And many of them had what they call undetectable amounts. That means it's there, but it's less than 1 part per million. So they call it undetectable. But if you put that in, you can put it on the claim. And that's what people do. And so what is advertising? It's hyping. I mean, look at the pharmaceutical advertisements. They tell you about this marvelous thing, that what this can do for so many issues you have, be it psoriasis. I watched that on psoriasis, and people are saying how much better their skin is and their life and everything. And then it has to, by law, has to tell you all the contraindications, the warnings about it. And so when that goes on, it's in a lower, they lower the audio. And then they start showing things that catch your eye and take it away from listening to what's going on, because they don't want you to hear that this could cause cancer, this could cause a stroke, this could cause heart attack, this could cause damage with your liver or vision. All those things are there, and they're there to listen, but nobody hears them because they're watching, because they've taken their eye off the ball. And so if you want to knock it out of the park, keep your eye on the ball. And the ball is the one that has really got the zip that comes in there that you can power it away and win the day, win the game, win your life with this kind of thing. So we have got, and there's the time for all of this. I got a little delayed today, but the important thing is to know who is like us. I was thinking of that coming down the canyon. I got started late today because of an issue that I had to handle. I was coming down. I kind of felt like Moses as I was coming down. I thought, went up to Mount Sinai to get the 10 Commandments and then come down to deliver them. And one of the unrecorded scriptures was, as he was coming down, he said, "My God, this is a long ways." And that's the way I felt coming down Hobble Creek Canyon today. That was my spiritual quote. My God, this is a long ways. And when you're in a hurry, it is. But I was in a hurry to get here to give you the message because it is so important. It's not an advertisement. We're not talking about the negative effects. We're talking about the positive effects that are here. And the H2 stick is really the one that is going to propel it. Now, the greatest product ever created in the history of the world in human health is the H pill. And guess what we're going to do, folks? You got that product sitting above, towering. No other MLM has it. And along we come, and we've improved the formulation 4 times. Most of you haven't even known it because we don't tell. Because if you tell them, we got a new improved version coming out, then everyone, I don't want to order. I'll wait. Wait. You're getting older every day. In fact, as if you're 50, you're aging 2 days for every day you live. If you're 60, you're averaging 3 days for every day that you live. You like to wake up in the morning and be 3 days older? How about if you woke up in the morning and was 2 days younger? That's the kind of thing you have with the age pill. And those kind of practical terms has to be taught to other people. But to them, it sounds like it's imaginary. It's science fiction. It's really not true because it's not been possible. Well, it's correct. It hasn't been possible because of the lack of scientific expertise. But just like with hydrogen, while I'm so excited about it, it was less than 5 years ago, there weren't 30 studies. And then it got to the point where we could, at the molecular basis of the cell, we could do analysis. When that happened, it opened up things for a product like the age pill. That's why Harvard went into it to investigate it, because now they could see what the inner workings of the cell were, not just workings, but what the products it produces, the sequence of what it was, all of that, and many other researchers too. They're not letting just, you think researchers from other companies going to let Harvard get away with it? They're going to get their piece of the pie. So they start doing research in that because they want to be right up there in the forefront. And now within 3 years or 4 years, there's over 1,000 studies on hydrogen. I've been posting a lot of them, and by law I have to post the whole study or the abstract. So I'm doing that. Sometimes I'll post, like yesterday, I posted a bunch of excerpts that you can look up. You can go to pubmed.gov and look those up with hydrogen and all the different things that are there, or hydrogen-rich water. So the power of hydrogen and the H2 stick is going to propel the age pill to even greater lengths. If I had to choose between the two, age pill, it's a no-brainer. But if the next product I would take in the entire world, in our entire line, would be the H2 stick. Now, that brings me down to the major point I was going to talk today, and Aaron handled most of that well. I didn't know but the things I heard, he got through it. And we tested it here extensively. And here I am with this overbuilt product. Remember, I'm Mr. Overbuilt in the way that I do things. And so I have this product that is, I look at a certain volume of water, 500 milliliter, and I take that, and you take it, that's 16 ounce for those of you that don't understand the metric system. But anyway, you take 16 ounce, 500 milligrams of water. How much material can it dissolve, and how much material can it react? Well, that can be figured out. And so I figured it out. And so that's what we built the H2 stick for. And it was so there was so much active in it. There's nothing in it that's not active. I mean, how's that for a product? Nothing in it that's not active. There's one little flow agent to help it so we can put it in a sachet. That's it. So everything else in it, and that's just small fry, but everything in it is a powerful active ingredient that comes together in a massive integrated interreaction to create hydrogen-enriched water right off the charts to give you that supercharged power of the sun. And then super oxygenate the water at the same time. You split them both apart. I mean, you think if you take an H2O molecule in your hand and you pull the oxygen off in one hand, you pull the hydrogen off in the other hand, now it's a gas, so it takes up more volume. Therefore, you see your bottle expanding because gas takes up more volume than a liquid. And so that's just living evidence for the bottle itself, like these really cheap bottles they have. For it to be getting firm it's just not a phenomenon. It's not something to have and you just say, well, see, the bottle gets quite firm, so you know that it's there. And that gets quite firm because there is an enormous release of hydrogen and oxygen going on within that water, and we've done it to the max. Now, to give you the perspective in the last little bit that I want to talk about is the science now shows if you have, this is in parts per million, 0.5 ppm of hydrogen, that's considered very beneficial. And the range goes up to about 1.0. Between 0.5 and 1.0 is extremely healthy. Now, they haven't really done much other than that because you could bubble pure hydrogen into water, but the problem is it doesn't get diffused the way this reaction does, so it gases off real quick. So it's hard to get hydrogen stable. This will keep the hydrogen much more stable, so it's there. But anytime you increase above the 1.0, then you get a geometrical proportional change in the performance of the product, and that's what we've done. So we took a look at our water machines, and they're putting out a 1.0. Some of them might even get close to 1.5, depends on your water source. And so I took a look at that as the basis, and I said, okay, let's say 0.5, and there are hard water conditions where people will be getting 0.5, half a part per million. You can imagine half a part per million is effective. It's just incredible. That shows the massive power of hydrogen. I don't think a half a part per million of anything, including uranium, could do anything. But with hydrogen, you have this immense amount of power. So if we take a look at that at a half of 1 part per million, and we look at the theoretical volume and capacity of the water in a 500 ml 16-ounce bottle, we can equate out what it will take in maximum saturation. So we do that. So remember I said every time you increase it, so if 1.0 or 0.5 to 1.0 is important, it's significant. If you go to 1.5, it's really a breakthrough. Well, guess what? Our test on this thing, when you do this, is coming out at 18. I mean, that's over 30 times more powerful than even what our water machine could put out. And look at the convenience of it and everything else. So if you take that, and if you told somebody who was in the hydrogen, in fact, as I have been talking with someone in the hydrogen because we're trying to get some effective ways for you to demonstrate it, and they can't believe it, and they're saying, can you send us a formulation? No, I'm not going to. This is what I'm looking for. This is proprietary. I'm not going to put it out there so somebody else can do it. And so these people that are experts within it, and they're PhDs, and specialists in hydrogen, they can't believe that we've been able to get a product like that. But where there's a will, there's a way, and we're willing to do it, and we found the ways to make that kind of thing happen. So that's what we've done with the product. The consequence of it, putting that much dissolved solution or dissolved materials and dissolving them in water, leads to a coloring of the water. And so there's a slight coloring, a little grayish, because magnesium is the primary reactant that the organic, inorganic metals are reacting with, and we have 5 types of it in there. I mean, if you can imagine that, and the proportion, and a lot of testing to find out. So this is a lot to understand, but I'm kind of rambling around. But when you understand, when you've got that much power in a bottle and you drink that thing down, you've got enormous power. You've got 30 times the power of hydrogen out of the water machine going through every cell in your body. And that's why they say the support for hydrogen in hydrogen-enriched water. Now, these are in the clinical studies that are published in Science, not advertisement, because no one's really doing what we're doing. But in these studies, they're talking about incredible support. Remember, this is a dietary supplement, so all we can say is it supports. But you get incredible support, number one, for the brain, and it does so much. And hydrogen is the best antioxidant, most powerful one found in the world, in nature. And so since it's the smallest also molecular atom, it penetrates right into brain-blood barrier means nothing to this. It goes through it like a hot knife through butter. It just is unstoppable. It goes into all the cells. And the one thing that happens within the brain, I mean, it's only 1.5% of your body weight. And with that, it uses 30% of the oxygen that you breathe in. 1.5% body weight uses a third of the oxygen that you take? Yeah, that's correct. That's how much metabolic activity is going on. No wonder the brain wears out. No wonder we get dementia, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's, and a lot of these things that happen. It's because the massive oxidation it's like rust, and it erodes the neurons, the ganglia connecting them, the whole field, everything else. It damages it, interferes with it, it stops it, and then in some cases like Alzheimer's, it allows the aluminum, which you can get from a lot of sources, but deodorant is a very bad one for that. I won't go into all that, but nonetheless, it lets aluminum from whatever source that is that's in your body connect with protein, and they form what they call an amyloidal plaque, and that is the culprit, and it attaches to the brain and starts it's like bypassing the circuitry of it, and so the brain identifies that it's an alien to it, it's damaging. So in this God-given brain we have, it responds to that, and so it sends out the immune system to attack whatever is causing the infection or problems throughout anything in your body. But within the brain, this amyloidal plaque now is short-circuiting the electrical connections and generated, all the things that are within the brain, plus it's turned into electricity, which communicates through everything. And now you got wiring that's getting frayed, that's getting disconnected, the other wiring coming in, taking off power and redirecting it to perhaps nowhere. You have all those things. Those are things I'm giving you to put in your mind. And you can see how easy they flow from me, because I understand this so well. I have studied so deeply, and it's not just a matter of that. I thank God that He's given me a lateral thinking mind so that I can find these kinds of things and bring them together for what? You're the biggest important part of this thing. So here, if we have amyloidal plaque now attacking the brain, it's not attacking it. The brain is attacking it. And to get rid of it, what it does is it goes in and it eats out with things like macrophages and T cells. They come in and they eat out the amyloidal plaque and break it down. The problem of it is, it's like if you had a cancer surgery, and my son just had a cancer surgery on his forehead, so it's a basal cell carcinoma. So it's just, if you're going to get a cancer, that's the one to get. But anyway, with that, they looked at it and took it in and did surgery on it, and then they called back in about just a few days and say, uh-oh, we didn't get it all. And so back he went in again, and they had to cut a bigger section out. Now, what does that meant? That meant, even on the first one, they cut off a lot of tissue that was useful for it. But because it was close enough to the cancer, and to make sure there was a barrier enough, they cored it out. So they took out more than just the bad, the tumor. They took out some of the good. And that's what happens with the brain as it starts to remove this amyloidal plaque. Then in the process of doing it, eats it out. And when it eats it out, what are you left with? Pinholes in the brain. That's what happens. And that starts happening. What's a pinhole? Well, nothing can get through it. It's just a void space. And that's when you start seeing things like dementia, Alzheimer's, things like that kicking in. Plus, there's a few other reasons with dementia, especially oxidation, that happens. So, here comes the cavalry. Now, you might be way out there and in trouble, but here comes some products with immense amounts of power to do that. Brain vitality, eternity, the age pill, the H2 stick, and you have a bombardment on that in the brain that is supporting the most powerful biological functioning that is going on within the brain, in my opinion, and that's what you got with all of them. But the one that does it the quickest, gets there the best, is hydrogen. So that's what we have. So now to conclude this, let me tell you what I've done. Some people are saying, well, why doesn't it dissolve and go clear? And so I brought some in yesterday, and I put 4 bottles of water out here and had lab, make sure it had water that was sterile, and brought it in, and I took a sachet. And in the first one, I poured the full sachet in it. The second one, I poured half in it. The third one, I poured a third of a sachet in it. And the fourth, I poured a fourth of it, see? So I kept doubling from a fourth, or more than that, to a third, to a half, to 1. Now, the thing I was looking at was I wanted to see what's the ppm of the hydrogen that's in each one of these if we do a reduced strength, and where is the saturation point attained. Sometimes that saturation can be calculated, sometimes a little difficult. With this product, with all the chemical reactions, it's more difficult, but not impossible, and it's important to do it. So we went through and we found out, as we were looking at the first bottle, here we had one, it was gone over 18 ppm, was up about 20, but I let it sit overnight. And you know what? There's some residue in the bottom. I can see it right now, but a little, you can shake it up and go back in. But it's everything that it needs and then some. Is that the way you want to treat your health? Everything that it needs and then some. Or do you want it almost everything you need, but not quite enough? So that's how this product's built. So the one that we did it in half. Well, we did it in half, and that bottle took less time, and it's got slight residue in the bottom. And you got to remember residue. These are life-giving ingredients, mainly because they're magnesium in the ionized state, which makes it permeable to go through the brain, and hydrogen will get it there too. So anyway, we did that one, and it came clear, but had a little residue. So shows we could be a little. It depends. It may, if there's more agitation, which we're going to try today. It may all go in a solution. But when I went to the third, it went clear, and it really went. I mean, there might have been a flake or something in there, and the fourth absolutely clear. Now, what does that mean for you? I mean, and this is kind of a stupid thing for me to be saying here, where we're talking about a product. If you're looking at strictly for a business standpoint, I'm talking to you about a product, a sachet that costs you $1 a day for a sachet. If you do it, I can recommend you take 2, because within 12 hours or so, most of it's gone within it. But the important thing is, if you have the amount that it takes in there to reach certain levels, you're going to have tremendous biological effect. And that effect will be attained with a fourth, a third, a half, or it all. Now, here's several thoughts. So what am I talking about? A product that costs $1, that costs $1. Now we're saying you can do it for 25 cents or 30 cents, with it. That's stunning. And that's why companies wouldn't say that, because it means a decrease in sales. But my philosophy is different, and I'm sure I'm the only company that's different this way. But when I saw the spectacular performance and potential of the Hydrogen H2 stick, I wanted to bring it out at a price that was so incredibly low as our introductory price. And I'm letting it run a little bit with this. It's just not like buy it the first month. No, we're going to let it run for a while. And so don't count on it running for the year, because it won't. But nonetheless, the price of it is very reasonable if it was where it should be. And when I produced the product, I had people come in from our finance department and manufacturing and said, "You can't sell this for $29.95. And I said, "Watch me." They said, "Well, you can't make hardly profit on it at this." I said, "Well, you know what? You can, because what this will do will allow distributors to catapult into new markets, signing up new distributors, new customers, and take the other products with it." It's almost like the idea of a lost leader that they use in supermarkets to get you to come in because they know you buy other things while you're there. This is sort of that way, only for you, because you are the distributor. You are sort of like the supermarket. You can have other supermarkets in your chain you're making override, and you can have other customers that you're doing. But in reality, if it gets you in, and guess what you're making on this thing? Because it's not just that we got a super low price, then we're paying out a whopping commission on top of that. So this thing is not in and of itself a profitable venture for the company, but in and of itself, when it's combined with other products, it will become extremely profitable. So right now is the evolution in this. And where is the evolution? I mean, it's just been created, and here we sit alone, no one else really doing what we're doing. And in all of MLM, who's got the hydrogen powder? Who's got the age pill? Nobody, nada. We've got it all, and that means you've got it. You have the opportunity of a lifetime. So I brought the product way down. Now here's a little bit of advice for you. Taking it 3 times a day is really quite ideal. And so if you took a product, if you took a sachet and used a third, morning and night, that type of thought, so you're spacing it about 8 hours or so apart with it, your body would have a continuous flow of that through every single cell in your body, and especially the brain, but the heart, the liver, the lungs, your eyes, things that it does for eyes now they're finding is really quite remarkable. In one of the studies, they found out that it wouldn't allow any depigmentation of the retinal in the eye. And so that structure gets oxidized off because it's taking light and translating it. And so vision starts to degrade as you're losing tissue. Here you have with hydrogen coming in, stops it because it's oxidation that's doing it. And this is the most powerful antioxidant that I believe God has created, and created most of the universe with us. About 80% of the universe is created from hydrogen. So, I mean, those are superfluous facts, but I'm trying to give you a perspective of here. So if you take one and you divide it in thirds, and so how much water do you have to put it in? If a 16-ounce 500 ml bottle is too much for you to drink, because hydrogen's got a limited lifespan, and the oxygen too, because it's lighter than water, and hydrogen is lighter than air. So if you have some headspace, if you drink part of it down and let it sit, then you'll have some hydrogen, some oxygen filling up in that headspace. So you can keep it, but if you have it in the product, in this new container that we have that everyone has fallen in love with, it'll stay longer. You could also do a couple of crazy things with it. You could throw in some ice cubes, or you could fill it with water and the hydrogen and throw it in the freezer. And then when you come and get it, you'd carry it all day. And as it slowly melted, that hydrogen is pretty well entrapped, much more so than any other way, within the ice freezing. And so you could retain it. And so if you took a bottle and with you to work, or to a sports event, later on you drink half of it, seal it up. It still sits low temperature. You're going to have less hydrogen loss. So You can see there's a lot of different aspects to it. But by taking a third, you got it in your body all the time. And you know what your ppm is at a third? Now we're talking about, well, we had to go 20 this time, but 18 is what initially we got 15, and we realized that you can, and this is my recommendation, 5 minutes is about as fast as you can take it, but up to 20 minutes you'll get it. The reactions maximize out at about 20 minutes. So the longer you wait, the more, after 20, then they start going down. But after that, the longer you wait, the more powerful it becomes. But when you're done, Aaron was right, drain or dry. If there's some of the material in it, think of it like this. Do you think the ingredients in the age pill are good? And suppose that you just took those in your mouth, and then you had to take some water or drink them down? Yeah, to make them go down. Sure, because they're enormously powerful. They're nutraceuticals on steroids, and I don't mean it literally, but that's what we have here with hydrogen. So whatever residue, man, don't throw that away. That's a gold mine to your brain, well, a magnesium mine anyway, but it is so important for you. You can throw it because you got the hydrogen and the oxygen out of it, but why throw away what is so important that is almost impossible is impossible for you to get enough of it. I mean, all of you, no one exceptions, to get enough magnesium. Now you can get all the magnesium you need. So what does that do? Lots of stuff. So if you had that, and here we are at a third, well, you know where we're sitting today? We're sitting on a third. We're sitting at about, not quite, but about 6 ppm. 6 ppm is gigantic. I've seen some experiments where they're saying we could yield on some technology we've done on a scientific scale. We could generate up to one saying 1.6, and another says we think we can make it to maybe 2.5 with what they're trying to do. That's their goals. Man, we throw it in there in the bottle in maximum strength, and there you got it. It's there sitting there at 18 or 20, which is just incredibly effective. So anyway, that's an important thing to consider with it. So the water itself, if you want it clear, it'll come clear. It's a matter of we've super saturated the solution. And so as a result, yeah, some of the water clarity is obscured because it's full of all these reacting elements, every which one of them, and the reactions taking place are extremely important for you and your health. So maybe that'll give you a better idea on what we're doing. So if you want clear water, hey, use a third, and it'll become clear pretty well. If you want to drink less, if you don't want to drink 500 ml, I can't drink 500. I can, but I don't want to. 500 ml. What do? I dump a whole sachet in half that. You know, you just need 8 ounces of water. That's a glassful. And I have a special bottle that's that size, and that's what I dump it in, and then I'm able to shake it up good because there's no head space and let it go. And now when I take that 8 ounce rather than 16 ounce, I have all of the hydrogen power in it, and then some that's there. So I'm just giving these as important ideas of what you can do. But here you have a product that is so insignificant in cost that you could use it every day for the rest of the day of your life, and it doesn't even begin to put a dent in your wallet with this thing. This isn't like one of those, and it could be, if we wanted to price it out that way, bone-crushing prices because of the dynamics of it. And we have got it absurdly low for a very logical reason, and that is to help you be successful, help you get new people in, not just so you're getting a discount on what you're using. If that case would get the price up, we got it down so that you're going to be able to very easily, if you learn a little bit, go out and recruit new people and get that done. So I went a while today, but Aaron and DW took up a lot of time, so give me some credit. But that's about everything that I wanted to pass on to you today. You have what you want. You want clear water, use a third. you have there. And where are you sitting at? 6 ppm? Unbelievable. 0.5 to 1.0 is considered really good. It's ideal for health. But now you're talking about anywhere from 6 to 12 times more powerful, even at a third of the sachet. That's enormous power. And if you want more, just increase more. But understand when you get beyond that, then you're reaching the point of supersaturation, and then you start getting some precipitate, but the reactions are still going on. So remember that. So if you got a little bit, if you choose it to do it more, drain or dry, drink anything. Last little bit of some powder, just swish it around a little bit, and then take it down, because your brain will thank you. And anyway, that's my advice for today, because we've just got it out, and the things that we're doing is quite incredible. I want to talk about other things, but I'm going to save it for another time. But I'm publishing some stuff. If you're not following me on Facebook, you're missing out on some gigantic strides. I'm looking at the bomb, the Moab, the mother of all bombs, that will be out sometime in the future. I don't know when, but I am working on it. And if you learned about this and what it could do, shock you, earth-shaking. You know what it is? It's another one of these big 10 items, or now big 11 or 12, whatever. But it is earth-shaking in what the bomb will do for you with it. And then TSX, hey folks, that thing is coming down the line. You want to talk about fitness? You want to talk about masculine and feminine attributes, the positive ones, just maximized to the fullest so that your body is operating that way in so many ways. That's coming. And a few other transfusion, reformulate the age pill, and a couple of other new discoveries we have coming. All those are coming in their own due time. Some of them you can do right now, but you don't want to introduce too much because you don't want to take the focus off. We have the two most dynamic products ever created on Earth right now, with the age pill and the hydrogen H2 stick, and nobody else has got it. So which one do you think we ought to run with? Which one do you think you ought to run with? You need to run with those are the red hot ones that will build the most, get the most, retain the most. And then as they start seeing it, as people come in and say, wow, I've never had so much strength in working out, and my recovery is so much better. I'm doing things that I had thought I'd reached my limit. Now I found out my limit was being impaired, but now it's enhanced, and that's what you've got with this product. It's so demonstratable, and as it's dissolving, you can be telling people and watching, this is what's happening. This is what it does within your body. See, because remember, you got 5 to 20 minutes on it, as it does in itself. And then if you go 15 or 10 or even 10 or 15 or 20 minutes, when you open that top, make sure it's sealed tight and the water is clear to the top of it. And when you open it, you might even find where there was no head space, there is quite a bit of head space now, because the expansion of the bottle has increased so much. But when you undo the cap, you'll have a fizz. And some people say, is it carbonated? No, it's not carbonated. It is loaded with oxygen and hydrogen that has been released, and the pressure from it, the power that is from it, is expanding out. Now all you have to do is drink it, and that's what it does within your body for you. So, made it to the hour. I'm sorry on that. I certainly got a little tied up here today, but I thought it was so important you could learn some of these things to aid you in the understanding of what you're doing. You're standing on one of the two of the most monumental discoveries ever made. In fact, as Harvard, they said the NAD, the discovery of it and what it can do for reversing aging, will rank in history. It will rank equally in importance as the discovery of electricity. That's their analogy. I agree. And then some. So we've got that, but man, we've got the power of the sun coming right in behind with that as well. Do you think things go better with the HPL? You bet your bippy. Think things are going to go better with H2 stick? Yee, gads, that's going to be right off the charts on top of it. Took the HPL in it. Where are you going? you're going the right direction because you're going younger, healthier, bigger, stronger, and living a much more full life and protecting your body. Not just protecting your body, but fortifying your body so it can do everything that it has the potential to do, but doesn't have the wherewithal to do it with. You now have within your product, and you alone. No other company. You, only you. So if you're ready to get your rear in gear, this is the time to run, and I mean run, because this year will be a gigantic year, and you should be recruiting, and getting people in, because this kind of opportunity doesn't come only rarely, and over maybe a 3 or 5 year period, you might find it happen with one company, and then it burns out because the product's not that unique, it was overhyped, underperformed, or all the competition's got it. You've got this thing down, and the things we're going to do. When do you see the next iteration of the H-Bill? Holy schmoly. It is something else. And what we're doing, some of the things I've got ideas for with the H2 stick, we're going to be messing around with that too. Why not? If we can make it better, higher performance, and more appealing in whatever way we want, those things we're going to do. So I'll turn the time back to you, DW, and thank you for all of you, especially those that can hang on this long.